Welcome to the Art Settlers of New York, an exclusive production of Manhattan Neighborhood Network, MNN, direct from MNN's El Barrio Firehouse Community Media Center, located at 175 East 104th Street, between Lexington and 3rd Avenues in the heart of East Harlem. My name is Rafaela Ronnie Billini, founder and co-executive producer of the Art Settlers of New York, and we will be having a conversation with Diana Gitesha Hernandez, along with bass player Mark Nelms. Gitesha is a jazz singer, artist, poet, songwriter. Yes, the word interdisciplinary was created to describe Gitesha. We will have a live performance accompanied on bass with Mark, showcasing her extraordinary range as a jazz singer. Born in Santurce, Puerto Rico, she moved to New York at the age of 5 and is a proud New Yorican who eventually settled after marrying Willie Correa and raising her family on the Lower East Side. She has traveled many continents pursuing artistic and spiritual goals, but always returned to the Lower East Side. She's a true art settler of New York. Welcome, Gitesha.
Hi. Bueno, thank you for having me.
We're honored to have you both.
Thank you.
And to be able to have you perform later on in the program.
Sure.
So tell us, Gitesha, tell us about what inspired you to go into music.
You know, I've always had music in my house, you know, where I was growing up. My mother was a dancer, and so she always had the music on. My father was a band leader, Benny Goodman style of music, trumpet player, in early Greenwood, you know, down in by LIU, you know.
That's in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn. So that's my roots was always about music and the things that made my people happy. It was everywhere in the house. So I couldn't help but have it inside of me, you know.
But you did have the vocal cords to be able to, you know, justify the fact that you're a singer.
Genetic.
It was genetic, you think?
I guess, you know.
So initially you started, when you decided to go to school, you ventured into other areas, and you're also an accomplished visual artist. We have some beautiful images of a past exhibit, which was extraordinary.
Thank you.
At the New Yorican Poets Cafe exhibit. How did you transition from being a visual artist and then dedicated now as a jazz singer? But talk to us about that period when you were painting and printmaking.
You know, I painted when I remember when I was about 11 or 12. My parents, I told them I started loving to draw and stuff, and my father says, well, let's go to the Brooklyn Museum. Okay. And I said, cool. And we went, and they had an art class that was advertised there. So my father enrolled me, you know. And ever since then, you know, they had nudes and everything, you know, when you were 13, it's like, what? You know, but it was a different world, you know, to be able to observe things, internalize it, and then put it out in your own fashion, you know. So to me, that's art, and that's the same thing as any of the art forms that I've chosen.
But so what was important were the teachers. It's important to have a teacher or a mentor?
I think always, and I think, you know, even the people that you don't formally say, you're my mentor, or you don't have that, like, are your mentors, you know, people in the street, you know, somebody homeless, you know, there's all kinds of ways to mentor, and it's bizarre, but those moments are felt, and when you see them or you experience them,
they touch your heart.
They touch your heart, and either in this direction or that direction, you know, or a different way of expression. So
taking the classes at the Brooklyn Museum, what did you really start with? I mean, do you remember, like, can you go back?
Still lives, things like that. You know, I remember, you know, charcoal drawing,
It must have been an exciting day for you, the first day.
Oh, yeah, it was Saturday. I remember.
It was a Saturday.
It was a Saturday. And, yeah, I loved it, the smell of the oils and the turpentines and, you know.
How many children were in the
linseed.
class, in the class?
I don't know,
Can you
maybe
remember?
like 12, 13
Okay.
maybe. All cute little, you know, teeny bopper types, you know.
But again, your father was
Yeah.
was a
But he
pivotal
was always
in your
encouraging
development
me.
of
He
your
was-
creativity.
Yeah, always. He was very, you know, he was just very highly developed in who he was, you know, and he was very creative and always, he was a very loving man. Like, so I had that, which I'm grateful for right from the start, which is not typical. It's not that it shouldn't be, but it's just there's so many things that get in the way.
So you're in Brooklyn taking classes at the Brooklyn Museum, and then something happens that you go across the country to California. Where did you move to?
Oh no! My father, his brother, moved to California, and they loved it there, and blah blah. And we were like nice in Bushwick. We had a gorgeous little house, you know. It was like really cute, you know, like the American dream that he got from being in the Navy, you know.
GI
veteran.
loan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he put all his little eggs in that basket, and, you know, and it was a cute little house, and, you know, fireplace, the whole 9 yards, a garden, huge
Sounds
ass
lovely.
tortoises, you know, in old Brooklyn. They were there. We used to chase them, me and my brother, you know. So, what were we talking about?
You moved cross country.
Oh, so my uncle encouraged my father, and my father sold that house to my grandmother for like peanuts, thinking, oh, everything's going to work out in Hollywood, right? So we
Hollywood.
went to Hollywood.
You
Yeah.
moved to Hollywood.
Westmoreland Street in Hollywood. I remember that year. It's crazy.
How was
With a
that,
pink and
going
white
to
house.
school? Going to school there. You only went to school there for a
yeah,
brief
for
period.
for I think it was, what was it, second grade, third grade, like that. And yeah,
You were 7 or 8 years old.
yeah,
Then what happened? Then you returned to
yeah,
New York.
yeah. Then my mother hated driving because, you know, that's what happens. The freeway, yes. You don't get to walk anymore like you do in the city.
Mm-hmm.
New York City is special for you can walk the whole city
Right,
if you
right.
want to.
Something like Puerto Rico.
Something like Puerto Rico. Have you ever walked the whole city in Puerto Rico?
Only El San Juan. What
Uh-huh.
about you?
I haven't. I would love to, I guess, if I could still do. It's debatable.
Right.
But no, I mean, you know, Puerto Rico is, you know, my island of my birth. Actually,
That's your second home.
I came here when I was 1 month old, not 5 years old. 1 month.
Okay.
I was an infant when I came here, and I was sad they didn't. When I came to, when they would bring me back and forth for holidays, I never wanted to leave. You know, it was always like, oh, why would you leave? You know, but as a kid, you don't see any of the anything else but that you're either in paradise or you're not.
Right. Right.
It's black or white.
Right. Let me ask you a question about you returned to New York for due to family reasons. Your mother didn't like California.
Right.
So then what happened?
Then we moved to Flatbush because my father's other brother, Albert, had bought a 2-family house in Flatbush.
So that's where basically you went to school and high school in that area.
I went to junior high school.
Okay.
I went to the probably 4th and 5th grade of public school through junior high school in that.
And then in
Yeah.
high school, what high school did you go to?
I went to Erasmus for almost a year, and then for almost a year, and then I went to James Madison which is right by Ocean Avenue. We lived East 21st between O and P.
there wasn't a large Puerto Rican community there.
No, I mean, my community very much was a lot of the Jewish people and Italians, you know, from...
Were they welcoming of your family at the time?
No, very, very. And it's funny because, you know, my mother, she knew English completely, you know, because she came here when she was 17. But she would always say that La Judía, that was her second people, because they would always give her information. She would just ask a question. Oh yeah, I know about this. You know, here, let me tell you. You know what I mean?
Those are the mentors you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. Your mentors you could find anywhere.
That's right.
If you listen. And the other way, mentoring to you what not to do.
That's correct.
It's
That's right.
constantly evaluating. Oh, what's going on here? Just like music,
Right.
you know, which is why it's such a turn on for me.
So from there, then you traveled to another continent in search of. You got into your actual spiritual goal.
Yes, around 26.
Okay.
When I became a sannyasin. That means the seeker of truth.
And that brought you where?
Huh?
Where did that take you?
So that took me to the West Coast. That took me back
to the West Coast.
to California, right? Which I always loved the West Coast for some reason. There was like something very different. I mean, of course, than the East Coast. I mean, the East Coast is like, "Rrr," and West Coast is like, oh yeah, you know.
So you went back to the West Coast, and then you went across the ocean again.
And then I went to Holland. Yeah, I went to Holland, you know, and I'd first gone to Alaska for a short trip, which was amazing back then. You know, the land of the midnight sun.
You were able to deal with the cold weather, or it's not
it
that
was
cold
only
different?
it was like in August, or you know, the summer. It was just the summer. So the summer was, you'd walk out at, you know, midnight, and it's like you're at 10 o'clock in the in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why it's called the midnight sun.
That's why it's called the midnight sun.
That must be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So then you finally returned to New York, and that's where you settled.
Yes.
And then became involved with the New Yorican
Well, when I
poets
was in
movement.
Amsterdam, I started singing
Okay.
with a rock band, you know.
So you were a rocker.
Yes. Well, kind of. I mean, it was really R&B. It wasn't really rock. It was R&B folk.
Okay.
You know, for this English guy who was a bass player, and we did this whole thing like nowhere child, nowhere child, dum 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 dum, nowhere child, nowhere child. That was like right before Sade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Popped. So, but just that whole vibe, I was always feeling that oceanic, you know, hypnotic sound,
so you
which is what my
transitioned-
CD's about.
Right. And we'll talk about that in a moment. So how did you get to meet your bass player, Mark?
How did,
I met Gitesha at a place
Antique.
in town, Antique Garage. It's on Mercer Street. And I met her, and we talked a little bit, and she told me that she was a singer, and she had seen me play I'd seen me play, and so we just started talking. I think I was playing with Mark Devine there. He was a good piano player. And so we just started talking, and she knew a good guitar player, Mark Capon. And so we rehearsed a little bit here and there.
The three of us.
Mark Capon, the guitarist.
Right. It's
And
very good. From the East Village, local boy.
And we've been, sometimes, we play around a little bit.
Every other Tuesday at Nomad.
Mm-hmm.
Can I put a plug?
Supposed
78 2nd Avenue.
And you're at
between
Nomad,
4th and 5th Street.
And you're playing
every other Tuesday, starting this coming Tuesday.
So it would be the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday of each month?
6/28 is
The last
so
Tuesday.
it's the second and
in
the
the
last.
and the last Tuesday of the
Right,
month,
right.
you're at Nomad.
Right, it's great food. And it's
I've been there.
outdoors. You've been there.
Yes.
That was so nice. of you to
Wonderful
come.
food. Yes.
Yes.
So you met, so from there, you continued writing. And poetry is still very,
Yeah.
a songwriter is a poet
Yes.
that then sets music to it, or
Right.
storyteller,
Right.
and sets music to it. So you're going to read one of your poems, and we're going to actually show this, Raw Lips Melao, a Puerto Rican rhapsody. So why don't you share with us this book and your poetry that can also be found on Amazon.com, correct?
Thank you.
Thank you. There you go. And before we leave, we will be
That was shot in Alaska.
also listening to Gitesha and Mark, who's going to provide a song for our listening enjoyment as well. So what are you going to read for us, Gitesha?
I'll just do a short little poem called Making It, Baby.
Baby.
I see, I don't even have my glasses. I don't even know if I could read it. Let's see. Making it, baby. Making it. Naked. Sound of drums. Beat the sand smear of sky. Blood swirling, endless blue. Enlightening. Like music do. Waves in full delicate steams, ornaments intercontinental, almost matter, organic like space. You can taste, like a good hors d'oeuvre. Now is the time to prepare in mid-nude swing the alchemical portion inside the brain, to that very center space where in quicksand thoughts are made liquid and given enough steam, dissolve. Oh, baby, baby, baby. Making it is like finding that erogenous zone where God unfolds the initial scheme, and in a wave of stupendous serendipity comes crashing against your rock and rocket, making it, baby, bloody and blessed and original, like the you before the you before.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Tell us now about the song that we're going to hear.
Which one did we do?
We did
Body
Billy,
and Soul.
but
Oh, Billy. Oh.
Billy.
Yeah,
Holiday.
I mixed in, I did a poem more, or the song that I gave you on the CD, or the song
That you performed here.
I performed a song poem. There, I gave you Body and Soul. Yeah, Billie Holiday was probably my first jazz singer mentor that, came out and said, pero qué lindo. What? You must listen. So I fell in love with her, and that's, I think, my first poke at, somebody poked you, was Billie Holiday. And I was touched by this song, Body and Soul. And when I recorded it at my friend's studio, which is this recording, I said, I love how Billie Holiday sings it. Nobody could sing it to me any better. So I wanted to bring my own thing into it and like shake it up, like interfuse it, make a fusion. So this is my fusion with the standard and my poetry and the way that I can kind of hear things and spin it into a different direction.
Wonderful. Well, we will all be able to enjoy that, and at the same time, we will be featuring in the program images of your artwork. You continue to be
That Willie Correa put together, yes.
And you continue, and you've expanded the different genres of art as a printmaker and part of Taller Boricua's Rafael Tufino printmaking workshop,
Tufino, yes,
mentored by Nitza Tufino.
Yes.
So right now, we want to encourage everyone to go to Nomad and listen to your band perform.
78 2nd Avenue, every
the second and the
and
fourth
last.
Tuesdays. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Gitesha, for being here. And we hope to have you again on the Art Settlers of New York.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you. Thank you
Gracias.
again.
Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you.
She was high on a hill evergreen, embrace under the lights, as she'd begin to cause the steam to rise from belly's core. My heart is so sad and lonely, for you I sigh, for you, dear, only. In dip and turn through sound and waves, the mere sound of her first note could be enough to shake your soul out of a mundane lane and deliver you to a place of fantasy. A place where lime green rivers glowed through hollow caves that freely flowed from darkness unto light, sending electric chilly chills of buzz through spine to the runaway of temple connection, causing God's consciousness, God consciousness to rise. But no good, they'd say, to self that is, and in the absence of the glitter, she'd nurse away the nonsense of life, unreliability of love. Last song sung, black-eyed and blue, in and out. Deep down inside herself, that medicated voice where she could be at one with the one she was and being one again, could find the strength to rise through the thorns that wrapped their way around her throat, scratching through sound to the inner wave of oneness. She'd emerge like a grand whale and with voice spew out an orgasm, an orgasm, an orgasm, an organism. Mesmerized, watching the entrails of her emotions blow multicolored ribbons through rainbow. Ah, Billy, wish I could have been there to watch your tiger flesh part the crowds, your dark, cool strut and satin cigarette making ring round your gardenia that sat upon your head like a crown, never having heard a voice so pure, 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 pure. Your breath would intoxicate the room. You with your liquid brain food, making us wait for the next refrain. Till the rat-ta-ta, rat-ta-ta, rat-ta-ta of drum beats out the ugliness of what's given. Oh, heroine, I can hear you sing. When you hear a song in bloom, like a flower crying for the dew, that was my heart serenading you. Now, time after time, when I need a fix of you, I spin the needle on the groove of magic, disengage from bone and flesh to liquid, inject myself with your voice, with your voice, with your voice until it streams my veins, plasma of you, and I'd grow still as you'd arrive, and could feel as you would bend and cock your neck and lips into my ears and whisper, blues, hush now, I said hush now, I said hush now, I said hush now, I said hush now, don't explain, hush now, don't explain, don't explain. Thank you.